morning, students. So we are going to start a new unit for you, distribution of drugs. So it is, before going to distribution, already I told you previously, drug disposition. After observation of a drug will change its different, it will go to different positions, that is known as drug disposition. Generally, the drug distribution consists of two processes, distribution of drugs and elimination of drugs. Distribution and elimination. So, elimination, once again we know it is divided into two types. One is your metabolism and excretion. So, today we will discuss about distribution of drugs. Generally, the distribution of drug, it is a, we can tell it is a reversible transfer of drug in different compartments, in between compartments. What are these compartments? It may be blood, plasma, then extracellular fluids and different tissues. So this transfer of drug, after it will observe, it will go to the blood circulation. From blood circulation it will go to different types of intracellular fluid, extracellular fluids, then your different tissues. So this type of distribution of drugs, this type of transfer of drugs we are calling as your distribution of drugs. Now let us discuss about steps involved in the distribution of drugs. The first point is, what are the steps involved? In the first step is permeation of free or unbound drug through capillary wall and permeate to the ECF. The first step is the free drug or unbound drug will transport through the capillary wall to the extracellular fluids, and then the next step is from extracellular fluid the drug will permeate the tissue cells and intercellular fluids. So these are the two phases by which the distribution will occur. So it is this distribution will occur by two steps, and when it will distribute, it has to go through different factors. So let us discuss about what are the factors affecting distribution of drugs. Generally, the first factor is tissue permeability. The first one is tissue permeability. In this tissue permeability of drugs, the first point will come the physiochemical properties of the drug molecules, like partition coefficient, pK value, these all things will come. Then your physiological barriers to diffusion of drugs, physiological barriers for the distribution of drugs, this will come in the tissue permeability of the drugs. Second one, organ tissue size and perfusion rate. The second will be organ or tissue size and perfusion rate. Third point, binding of drugs to tissue components. Fourth one, miscellaneous factors like age, pregnancy, obesity. So this thing will come as miscellaneous. So these are the four factors. Let us discuss about the first one, tissue permeability. So the tissue permeability, as I told, first one is the physiochemical properties of the drug molecules. Because physiochemical properties like your different factors, as I have discussed previously in the observation of drug, same factors also it will act here, but will not that much will affect the distribution, because for example pH of the blood will be remain constant 7.4. It is not changing like your gastrointestinal tract. It is constant 7.4. So it will that much it will not affect your ionization or non-ionization or absorption distribution of drugs. So that's why mainly the distribution of drugs will be affected by tissue permeability. That means tissue permeability means it's having good partition coefficient. If those drugs are having good partition coefficient, it will be distributed well. Now coming to the physiological barriers. So in the physiological barrier, generally we are having 4 types of barriers. What is this barrier? Which will prevent entry of external substances which are not present in our body, which will prevent entry to the body. So we can tell this barrier as a protective layer to our body, which will protect from some different exogenous substances. So these barriers will prevent entry of different types of substances which are taken from outside. So let us discuss about what are types of barriers there. There are 5 types of barrier. First one, simple capillary endothelial barrier. Simple capillary endothelial barrier, it is a simple barrier we can tell. Maximum, it is not actually is a barrier, but we are considering it. If any substances more than molecular size more than 600 Dalton, it can be transported, it can be permeated this barrier, but less than that it won't permeate. Then coming to the second one, simple cell membrane barrier. After a capillary endothelial barrier, if the drug will cross, the next step it will have to cross the membrane barrier. To enter inside the cell, it has to pass through cell membrane barrier. So cell membrane barrier means it's like a lipoidal barrier, simple lipoidal barrier. If the drug is having good lipophilicity, it is having good partition coefficient, it can cross that particular barrier. Then coming to the third one, blood-brain barrier. So blood-brain barrier is the most important barrier. We can tell this barrier, brain capillaries, it consists of, because blood-brain barrier means it is present in the brain. So this type of blood-brain barrier generally consists of capillaries, that is consist of a endothelial cells which are joined to one another by a continuous intracellular junctions, tight intracellular junctions. That means these are all your endothelial cells, but they joined one another with tight intracellular junctions. So these are specialized cells present inside this. These are known as pericytes and astrocytes. Pericytes and astrocytes. These are specialized cells which will prevent entry of any substance to brain. We are considering this blood-brain barrier as the strongest barrier in our body. It won't, maximum of the drugs are not allowed to enter into the brain. Very less number of drugs there which are entering into the brain. So it is, that means simply you can tell, if the drug is entering this blood-brain barrier, it will go to the CNS. But there is a particular part in the brain where this type of blood-brain barrier is absent. So this type of location of this area is known as trigger area. This type of location is known as your trigger area, or this is a median hypothalamic eminence. It is present in the median hypothalamic eminence or trigger area. So it is present on near the nose. So if you take any drug in the nasal cavity or intranasal dosage form, if you take, it can able to cross that trigger area because there is absence of blood-brain barrier. So this is the strongest one. Then coming to the next one, blood CSF. Blood CSF barrier. CSF means cerebrospinal fluid. Blood cerebrospinal fluid. If any type of drug which is entering to the CSF, that also going to the brain. So it is a similar type. This both are similar type of barriers. Blood CSF. So the CSF present, as we know, it is present in the spinal cord. So that's why it is also the strongest type of barrier. It will only allow those drugs having highly lipophilic in nature. Those drugs are highly lipophilicity. These can enter into this blood CSF. Then coming to the next one, blood placental. Blood placental barrier, it is also one type of strongest barrier because it will prevent, it is present of, it is made up of choroid plexus, and this type of cells will prevent entry of drugs in the placenta, and also it will prevent entry of drugs so that the fetus will be safe from external drugs what the mother is taking. It will prevent any hazardous things to the fetus, but maximum of drugs are able to cross this placental barrier. So that's why during pregnancy you can see maximum drugs are restricted. It is prohibited to take during pregnancy. So more number of drugs we can see these are prohibited during pregnancy. So this is the cause, because maximum drugs can cross this placental blood placental barrier. So this is one type of also effect. We can see teratogenicity effect. Those drugs having teratogenic effect, these can cross this barrier and will give a teratogenicity to the fetus. This type of drugs also known as your teratogen. This type of drugs known as teratogen. Then coming to the last one, blood testis barrier. So maximum of drugs can cross this barrier and will reach the testis. So that's why this is now also the type of strongest barrier in the body. But the highest strongest barrier is blood-brain barrier and blood CSF barrier. So other things we will discuss in the next class.